Hello, everyone. Welcome back to TFD with Cordy, and yes, I'm back. First off, major appreciation to Alvo for holding it down and covering WNBA content over the past couple of days. So let's get right into it, because there's a lot to unpack here. As we keep going further down this road with the WNBA Players Association, I think it's time we stop dancing around the issue and just be honest. Let's call it what it looks like right now. Greed, pure and simple. What started as a reasonable conversation around better pay and fair compensation has morphed into something far more reckless. After reading that latest statement from the Players Union, the one I already broke down earlier, it honestly feels like they're comfortable driving this league straight into the wall, say. At this point, it almost looks like self-sabotage. And I don't know if that confidence is coming from the idea that Unrivaled is somehow going to save the day. Because let's be real for a second. After those ratings came out, that league looks shaky at best. No sugarcoating it. One more year? Maybe. Even that feels generous. Between declining interest and the shadow of Project B, talent is going to start leaking out fast. So if the players think they've got some safety net tucked away in their back pocket, I'm not seeing it. Now, here's where things get interesting. Two major issues are starting to surface. First, the Arita situation. That alone is a mess waiting to explode. And before I go further, quick reminder, make sure you're subscribed, or at least check that you still are. I've never seen anything like what's happening right now. People are getting unsubscribed without even knowing it. Some folks are telling me they've had to resubscribe multiple times. YouTube, seriously, what are we doing here? Back to the league. The second issue, the owners. The WNBA has already made it clear they're not locking anyone out. Instead, they're rolling with the status quo, and that tells you everything. They're about to play hardball. They're going to dangle money, create pressure, and test the unity of the Players Association. If you think a fracture isn't coming, think again. Adam Silver and the ownership group are about to get very strategic, and honestly, watching this unfold is going to be fascinating. I'm not rehashing that Players Union statement again, we already did that, but pay close attention to this next headline because it says more than people realize. However, look at what this headline says. WNBA is telling teams they can send free agent offers amid CBA uncertainty. Here's the reality, and this is where things are about to change fast. Teams are getting ready to send out free agent offers, and once that happens, the tone of this whole conversation shifts. You're going to see players who haven't been making much money suddenly staring at real numbers, actual dollar amounts, and when those offers hit their inbox, there's going to be a pause, a moment of, hold on, this is real. And that's when things get interesting, because talk is cheap until checks are involved. Once money is on the table, priorities change. Now look here. Said under U.S. labor law, the WNBA has a status quo obligation to allow the sending of qualifying offers under the expired agreement. A moratorium, a legally authorized period of delay, could be agreed to by the union and the league, resulting in the complete pause of all free agency activity until a new CBA is ratified. As of Friday night, just before midnight, multiple league sources told Front Office Sports a moratorium was under consideration, proposed by the league to the Players Union an hour before the CBA deadline. With no moratorium yet in place, WNBA officials spent the past 2 days calling general managers and executives from every franchise to tell them that the status quo period means they can send out qualifying offers to free agents beginning on January 11th, sources told FOS, sources told Front Office Sports. Wow. Wow. Now, of course, the Players Association are trying to downplay this. Okay, now here said the same sources told FOS they viewed going through the motions of free agency without a CBA in place as pointless. In a statement late Friday night, the union said that the league and owners have remained committed to undervalued player contributions, dismissing player concerns, and running out the clock. Okay, hold on. I'm not going to waste time rereading or breaking down that statement from the Players Association again. In my opinion, it was reckless, and if this keeps going the way it's headed, it could seriously damage the league. But here's the part that really matters and that people aren't thinking through clearly. What happens when players start receiving qualifying offers? Right now, there is no new salary structure in place, no finalized raises. None of the big numbers everyone has been talking about are actually agreed to yet. So any qualifying offer is going to be based on the current framework, not some future promise. And I seriously doubt the league is going to start handing out those massive hypothetical raises in qualifying offers before a deal is signed. That said, this is where it gets fascinating. You're going to have players who were making $100,000, $150,000, maybe $200,000, suddenly staring at offers that dwarf what they were earning before. And in some cases, you could see players who were never close to max money suddenly being offered a max contract under the existing rules. That's when reality hits. Slow inhale. Imagine going from $250,000 to seeing a number north of $1 million on a qualifying offer. That's not a small bump. That's life-changing money. That's like Publishers Clearinghouse showing up at your front door with balloons and a check. Soft exhale. And once that happens, the entire dynamic changes. Now, players are thinking, hold on, I don't want this dragged out anymore. I want this CBA done so I can get paid. And that's exactly the position the league wants to put them in. This is smart. Very smart. Adam Silver and the league office are playing chess here, not checkers. They're creating internal pressure without saying a word. And once individual players start feeling that pressure personally, unity inside the Players Association is going to be tested in a very real way. Okay, now to more interesting things. Ramona Shelburne, who of course covers the NBA for ESPN, senior writer, she said, while it doesn't seem like there are any immediate consequences to another formal or informal extension of WNBA CBA talks, because training camps don't open until April, I'm starting to hear increasing concern about how this delay could affect scheduling next year. In other words, if there's no CBA, there's no schedule, and arenas start to give dates away to other events. Wow. He also said, there's also the issue of free agency and the expansion draft, which needs to happen fairly soon. Here look more reactions. Fuck, look, first, greed will do that self-destructive behavior. Got millions of new fans, should embrace them. Nope. Spend every second attacking the new fans in comments. The reason they are here? Intentionally destroying the growth of the league. And I wonder why. Greedy, selfish vets. He said, then the players need to sign and stop this nonsense. Aren't they about to get $400K to $1.2 million, up from $60K? Said, least of their problems. If the owners don't change their way of thinking, the league is going to fold. Okay, now, yeah, and this is the part that really makes you stop and think. A lot of this push is clearly being led by older players. And you can understand the mindset to a point. They're looking at the end of their careers and thinking, this is my last window. I need to squeeze every dollar I can out of this. That's human nature. But at some point, you have to be realistic about the bigger picture. There's a deal on the table where players can make up to $2 million by the end of this CBA. Take it, secure the money, then go play in Project B, build your brand, and position yourself to make real money outside the WNBA structure. If you play it right, you could turn that into $8 or $10 million over a couple of years. And honestly, if that's not enough, I don't know what to tell you. What's wild is that now they're flirting with something dangerous. Losing game dates. That's when the panic starts. That's when you get that quiet moment of, uh-oh, maybe we pushed this too far. And the owners see it. They're not yelling. They're not threatening. They're just going to tempt individual players. Think about this scenario. You're a player who wants to grow your brand. You're sitting at home, and suddenly you get a qualifying offer from the most visible team in the league, the Indiana Fever. You're telling me that doesn't change your thinking? Look at what playing in Indiana did for Sophie Cunningham. Her popularity exploded. She's everywhere now. A player's going to look at that offer and say, what are we even doing? The Fever want me. I need to sign this. That's how unity cracks. It's going to be fascinating to see which teams are offering what and to whom. Let me know what you think, and don't forget to like and subscribe.